All right, hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about the ideal present canvas. Modern approaches to planning center on utopic escapism, imagining up an ideal future, working towards it, and then thrashing about when it doesn't come true. We blame poor outcomes on the strategy, the execution, or even the people. But there's another way to plan. Instead of betting on a far-off future, we can imagine an ideal present. Jay Bloom, a transition designer working at Red Hat's Global Transformation Office, has been working on the ideal present as part of his PhD research. Jabe thinks about time a lot, and he's hoping to help us reimagine the world with a more expansive view of what's possible from the standpoint of the present. We'll use a canvas with 4 sections to show you how the ideal present works. Each section will be used to describe the present or the future, and we'll build on any previous sections. If you'd like, take a piece of paper, divide it into 4 equal sections, and write down your own answers for each section as we go along. The first section is the present mess. Here we describe the good and the bad of the way things are now. What's working? What's not working? What hurts? Write it all out, fully appreciating your experience. While we don't want to neglect the good parts, make sure to include the things that aren't going so well, too. The second section is the future mess. Based on the present mess, how are things going to play out by default? Where are we likely to end up based on our current trajectory? How will that future be different than now, for better or for worse? Sometimes it helps to go item by item in the present mess and then ask, what's going to happen if this stays the same? The third section is the ideal future. Here we want to describe how the ideal future will be different from the way things currently are in the present mess, and different from the way things are likely to become in the future mess. The ideal future should contrast the negatives of the first 2 sections. It should describe something feasible, so please, no magic wands or fairy dust. The last section in the canvas is the ideal present. Here we imagine how things would ideally be right now if we were addressing the problems of the present mess, cutting off pathways to the future mess, and taking our first steps towards the ideal future. Useful items for the ideal present can include behaviors we are acting out, skills we are building, mindsets we are learning, capabilities we are developing, or other conditions that we are cultivating. So what would we need right now to solve our present mess problems? What would we need right now to divert us away from future messes? And what would we need right now to start us on our journey towards the ideal future? Now, instead of hoping that our ideal future is right, we can instead start working on making the present the best it can be based on what we know. And as you work towards the ideal present, take notice as your present mess begins to change. That's usually a good sign that you might need to run through this exercise again, since your future mess and ideal future states will be changing as well. Now, if you'd like to learn more about the ideal present, consider following Jabe on Twitter, @Cyatane. You can see that in the description below. And if you liked this video, please consider subscribing. Thank you.